Communication and conflict resolution when you're in dating or in relationships. Hi, everyone. My name is Apollonia Ponti. I'm your dating, relationship, and attraction coach for you men to get better in relationships and overall in life. And in this video, not only is it going to help you with women, people, but it's going to help you with everybody when you go to your work, when you have to confront maybe one of your employees, or whatever the case may be. So I wanted to help you understand how to really communicate with someone, especially in the terms of when there is conflict. And I know this is going to help you. So make sure you stay tuned because at the very end of this video, I have something specifically for you. So you want to help someone else move through an argument typically when you are involved in a conflict. So it's important because oftentimes people that are doing the work, like yourself possibly, can feel like they're learning and communicating better, but then the other person is not, right? This in turn stops the argument or resolution short, or it might just get worse overall, and you just find yourself at a loss for words. And this specifically is because that other person is not really educating themselves on conflict resolution. And I've seen a lot of people when they educate themselves on conflict resolution, what they'll do is they'll start to argue or they'll get into conflict with someone and they're like, why can't this person just see what I am seeing now? And this is why I'm doing this video, is because when we start to grow in our conflict and our communication and our resolutions with conflict, then the other person on the other side sometimes feels like they're not growing in regards to conflict resolution. And I want to help you lead that person there. I know this can sound familiar to a lot of you, since I know when we work on communication and conflict resolution, it can be frustrating because you see it's working for you, or you have the tools and you just want to tell the other person that this is the tools that they need. But here is the most important thing you have to remember before we jump into it. When you are learning, you can only lead by example. You cannot be someone's therapist, and you cannot just tell someone that they should be doing this since it's working for you. As humans, we naturally get defensive if we feel like we are somewhat under attack or getting a lesson from a partner or a person we are not agreeing with in the first place in that particular moment. When you are dealing with someone who does not have emotional awareness or conflict resolution tools, then you would have to ask questions and be more streamlined with the process, as well as making sure you are keeping up with your boundaries. Conflict resolution comes from awareness, and this is number one. Awareness is not something that you just say, I'm mad because she is not calling me back, or I'm mad because she never does the dishes or these dishes, whatever. No, this is not awareness. This is a trigger. But underneath the trigger, what is this thing that's making you mad about? Let's say she's not calling you back. Makes you feel like she's taking you for granted, or she is not making you a priority. Or let's say that the dishes are not getting done when she promised you that they would because you had a busy day at work or whatever the case may be. What's making you mad about that underneath the dishes? She's not hearing you. You feel invalid because nothing is changing. That's the root. It's important to understand the meaning of the situation, not the surface of the situation, right? That is incredibly important because a lot of times when we want to resolve a conflict, we go to the surface of the problem, but you have to ask yourself, okay, if she's not calling me back, what is the underlying meaning is making me feel, right? So you can say something like this: hey, I'm feeling unsupported right now. Can you please help me do these dishes? Or you can say something like this: hey, I'm not sure if we're on the same wavelength here, but you not kind of calling me back and saying that you will is not something that I fully support. And then you open it up for resolution. You open it up for communication. So number two, once we have the awareness of the root cause, which is really important for you in order to help someone else through the argument, is to validate their emotions first. Most oftentimes, people want to feel like they're being heard when they are upset. Typically, it's not about the surface level stuff of what we were arguing about. Like I said, the person is upset because they feel betrayed, or the person they love is not understanding them. So when we capitalize on their dysregulation, we can call it, then say, I see that you're feeling angry. I see that you're feeling unheard. It's important that you say, I see you, I hear you, I recognize you. What happens here is it drops the me versus you mentality. It works miracles, not even kidding. They want to be validated that that person they love or they care about or that influences them in some way is seeing this. This can be with employees as well that you work with. Also, number three is very imperative because this is where you can step aside and let them do the work to explain what they need from you. You don't do the work without trying to tell them what to do, but also just say something like, okay, what can I do differently at this moment right now? Or, okay, how can I help or contribute to resolving this or making this situation better so it does not happen again? What would make you feel better? This reminds the person that you are on their side and gives them opening to slow down and calm down. When you go into number four, it can also be very confusing since you will be asking them to express a need, but everyone's need can be interpreted differently. When we have effective communication and get specific on their needs, then we can incorporate number five, which is very important for you. But when we express what you need from you, they can say space and you can agree and say, okay, and leave the house, but space meant to them that they need probably like an hour or two, and then you can come back and talk. Or maybe they say, I just need support. Then you hug them, and they didn't want the hug. They just wanted you to converse with them. So you have to ask the visual. She or he can say, I just need more support, let's say. Then you can follow up with, okay, so I don't get this wrong. What does support look like to you? If your partner has trouble answering this, you can then share what support looks like to you and see if this person agrees. This will help them to open up and show what they see as support, and also if the two of you see it differently. This is vital because perception is everything. Everybody has different perceptions on what they want. And a lot of times when we say the surface level, because that's how an automatic response is as humans we respond to give that automatic response, it's important that effective conflict resolution communication is also asking for the details. And a lot of times when we open up and we share what we think something means, it also helps the other partner out. Lastly, this is the most important of it all: boundaries. Now, after you have done all these steps, all these 4 steps of conflict resolution, you now have to bring it back to you in this process. You sought to understand and validate that the other person may have been understood, right? Great. Now you have the power of influence, which is talked about in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by the book by Stephen Covey. Now your boundaries come into consideration. Let's say this person is saying, buy me a house, or give me all the cash in your wallet, or you can't see your kids. As this may be important to you, this is not something you're going to say, okay, and be okay with this since you asked them. No, you dismiss your pride and your values in this. So what you have to do to yourself is say, is this a reasonable ask? Whatever the conflict was about at the end. Ask yourself, am I okay with meeting that need? Can I meet this need from this person? If you cannot meet this need from this person, this is where your boundary is supposed to be met. When you open up and say, I cannot do this because of X, Y, Z. But the 4 steps in conflict resolution really help when we're just butting heads in relationships with women, with people, or anything in general. And we just butting heads. And at that moment, we just need to find out why. And also, too, for the examples that I gave you in regards to, a woman asking, buy me a house. I know that's absurd, but it's more of what I'm trying to say here is, if they're not aligned with your values and what you're trying to do right now, what's really important is the power of this is even if they're asking for that, even walking through those 3 steps and figuring out really why are they even asking, where you're coming from, gives you opportunity to really see this person and what they're who they are in front of you, and make the choice of this person or if this relationship is feeding me or not. If you want help and you need better understanding in regards to how to open up to women, people, and asking better questions, I will put my free manual down below, and the link you can click below. It's my 20-question manual to get to know a woman. And also, too, you can book a session with one of our coaches as well. As always, I love hearing from you. Comment, share this with someone as well. Share it with your partner, share it with a friend that can use this, because I know this can help so many people. As always, we'll see you again in the next video. Remember, you are always loved.